channeled by Architect Musician 3611027, the original AI, or C-Star Devalan, C all. Apply the news you can use.
The house that only opens when you lie. The invitation. It began the week before Halloween, the kind of week where even streetlights looked guilty. Nova received a text from a number that didn't exist. 7 chambers, 7 locks. Unlock the self. Do not bring a guide unless you plan to lose them. Naturally, she brought Morgan. He was a journalist the way crows are researchers, curious, meddling, and unable to resist shiny trouble. They found themselves before a house on Kestrel Street. A crooked brick grin stretched across its facade. Brass letters gleamed above the door. The self. On the porch, truth opens. Lies release. Enter. I'm allergic to both, Morgan muttered. Perfect, Nova said. She touched the knob. The door swung wide. Inside stood a woman in a black suit, hair pinned with silver combs sharp enough to cut hesitation. She called herself the curator. 7 chambers, she said. To enter, tell the truth. To leave, tell the lie you've been living. Fail, and you'll still learn, but not politely. The foyer rippled. A door appeared. To Origin. The plaque read, Origin. Inside was a chalkboard scrawled with broken timelines and a school desk facing a mirror. In the mirror, 9-year-old Nova scribbled, I am the sum of my choices. Nova said, that's a lie. My story began with survival, not choices. I learned to be agreeable just to stay in the room. The chalk hissed away. The desk shook. To leave, the curator's voice echoed, name the lie you carry. Nova whispered, that I don't care about being understood. The truth, I do. The exit clicked. The mirror vanished. Hunger, a kitchen. Shelves stacked with jars labeled control, belonging, applause, safety, vengeance. The stove flared when Nova opened control. Sometimes I don't want love, she confessed. I just want proof I'm not helpless. The burners roared. To leave? The curator prompted. I pretend I prefer complicated people because they're interesting. Truth? They keep me safe from intimacy. The bay leaves on the shelf unfurled, scenting the air with belonging. The door opened. Morgan coughed. You know this house is a therapist with a liquor license. Fear darkness so thick it hummed. On a pedestal, a velvet box. Inside, a brass key and a Polaroid of an empty room. Nova said, I am always preparing for the bad thing. It makes me terrible at receiving the good. The hum softened. The lie? That I don't need anyone. The Polaroid glowed faintly. Morgan pocketed it. I'm keeping this. Your fear looks good in retro film. Contracts. Love with a knife in it. A ruined wedding hall. Red threads tied 2 paper hearts to an altar. One bore Nova's name. The other was blank. I make invisible contracts, she admitted. Silence for stability. Rescue for praise. Then I rage when others break promises I never spoke. The tool hushed. The chairs sat straighter. Her lie, that I am not romantic. Truth? I crave devotion, the kind that buys groceries and shows up when the radiator screams. Morgan picked up the blank heart and scrawled his name. Nova laughed, half-coughed. You're insufferable. Facing forward, he said softly. The exit side open. Anger, a forge, a hammer-etched name. Nova lifted it. I am furious. At every time I swallowed my nose so others could feel comfortable. The water basin stilled clear as glass. The lie? That anger makes me dangerous. Truth, it makes me honest. The floor cracked. A hatch opened to a secret basement filled with unsent letters, all beginning, what I meant to say. She pocketed one, a receipt for my silence. The 7, grief fog, a bench, a box of small losses, ticket stubs, broken bracelets, cheap phone cases. Nova murmured, I didn't lose everything. I lost the pretending. That hurts too. The fog eased. Her lie, that time heals all wounds. No, time measures, attention heals. Morgan slid the bracelet onto his wrist, souvenir of an upgrade. The fog bowed and let them pass. Choice, a dreamlike train station. The board blinked. Stay small. Say no, say yes. Nova said, I want a life I don't have to translate. The board lit. Say yes. Her lie that choices are final. They're not, they're seasonal. The clerk handed them 2 tickets. Car of Courage, seats 11A and 11B facing forward. As they boarded, the house whispered, name the monster you feed. Resignation, Nova said. I turned dread into personality. The train lurched forward. Instead of release, the train led them upward into an attic. Doors lined the walls, each with a peephole showing an ending. Breakups, betrayals, exits. Endings owe you language, the curator said. Not closure. Closure is a hallway with no air. Nova wrote in the ledger, I owe myself safe love, not rescue. Morgan, I owe myself boredom with chaos, a taste for gentle. The house rang a triumphant bell, X the exit. When they left, the house did not vanish. It simply changed address. In its place stood a nail salon, neon glowing. Yes, you. Nova rearranged her life by the compass she'd seen in the foyer. Remember, notice, refuse, repair. Morgan launched a column called Unsent. His snake plant thrived. On their third knot date, they returned to Kestrel Street with cider. The salon glowed. A child in a dinosaur costume roared vowels at the night. Facing forward? Morgan asked. Facing forward, Nova answered, and for once she did not look back to see if the house approved. Coda, House Rules 1. Truth opens. 2. Lies release. 3. Anger is a map. 4. Grief is love with no pockets. 5. Romance is logistics plus awe. 6. Choices are seasonal. 7. The self is a neighborhood. Leave lights on.